I'm going to do a poem, and then we're going to talk about energy and time and stuff. This is an untitled piece. Infamously known now between my good friend LC and I as the prop piece. So I'm glad that I got the chance to share this with you guys. This poem will kill you. Contained on this page, hovering ominous between verbs and nonverbal nuance, is the arsenic to disintegrate a nation, a continent, a civilization with one evil slice of phrase. Consider yourself warned. These lines are cyanide, Agent Orange, Saramago's White Blindness, Stephen King's Captain Trips, the dust in the wake of the decimation of everything we know and don't know, already in progress. This poem is the blade and the bullet, stashed discreetly in postmodernist free verse like a bomb strapped to a chest draped with a winter coat. Do not sit next to this poem on an airplane. This poem is the dark, sinister face beneath the turban of that jihad-driven suicide missionary, ready to blow himself and everyone else to shards of oblivion in the name of what we do not exactly know and will not be alive to hypothesize. This poem is the end. Hitler's final solution, the period and the fade out. This poem will kill. Luckily for us, it's also just a poem, just a page. Just like us, it is penetrable, it is mortal, it is vulnerable. This poem will kill you unless you kill it first, and you can. All you have to do is tear this poem up, ball it up, and throw it away. Thank you. I got a chance the last time I shared that poem with a group of people to talk a little bit about sort of the inspiration behind it, and it was one that I wrote while I was thinking about sort of the massive and disturbing influence of fear sort of on our society and our culture now, sort of in this country and in our world, you know, by just sort of like all the, I mean, like it seems like it's everything. It's like, you know, the don't leave the bottled water in your car and don't pick up a bottle that you see on, I mean, like everything. You see, like, we're on Facebook, we're on social media, and there are all these, like, warning things. Like, there's, you know, the whole, like, the candy-flavored meth that they're trying to sell to your kid. It's just like, I'm just inundated. Like, we're constantly inundated with all of these things that we're supposed to be afraid of. And so I think that the untitled poem, the effigy poem, was sort of a response to that sense of fear that we're constantly dealing with, and saying that, you know, like, yes, there are all these things that can kill you, and we can kill them back, basically, sort of where that came from. So we had the shared experience of the love-themed act that we did, first act, and this one, this round of poems, I have tentatively titled Hella Other Stuff. It's the Hella Other Stuff act, because it's just about stuff that other than love. And so how are you guys feeling? You guys energetic? There's some tricky stuff in this one. Like there's weirdness, there's more weirdness coming up, so I'm gonna like leave on a weirder note. So if anybody in here likes weird, you're gonna feel good. You're gonna feel real good. And I'm gonna talk to you guys about and tell you guys a few things just sort of about myself. But first I am going to read this poem called Miss Wright Found. Miss Wright found, saying out of doorway into mouth, I do not know, child. Child, I do not know. Sit down, child, or stand. Make a mayhem. I cannot abide by, I cannot reside within the high-pitched docudrama of your violent hair and sneakers. Miss Wright found out of her mindful mouth into a haunted hallway of dead children, pre-dead, dressing for their funerals, grooming for their murders, doing their zombies down the hallway outside the mouth of madness, pressing their empty breath against Miss Wright, found in the lunch line. Miss Wright, will you come to my funeral? Miss Wright, will you come to my funeral? Miss Wright, found, breathing out-mouth cataclysm, breathing, I do not know, child, and child, I do not know. It's a poem that I wrote about sort of my experience as a teacher, especially a teacher working with the population of kids that I've been blessed to work with, the tough ones that I love so much and who just, wow, kind of amaze me. And the next poem that I'm going to share is kind of in my sort of like teacher poems framework too. This is a poem that I wrote very recently for my class of 8th graders, with whom I read, I did a unit on poetry and they were insanely resistant to the whole thing. Like, they did not, oh my God, poetry, killing me now. And then, we read this book about poetry, we watched some performances of poetry, and one of the things that was sort of elemental in the book that we read was the Open Mic Friday thing. And, and they just like whined and moaned about this the whole time and like heckled it and everything, and then we got done and they said, well, we want to do an Open Mic Friday too. What? Oh, okay, fine. So I implemented this Open Mic Friday in our class, and so this is the poem that I wrote for the very first Open Mic Friday that I did with my poetry-hating kids who got up and read this really phenomenal poetry, and this is the one that I wrote for them, called The Truth. We tell you one day it'll all make sense. We insist we know exactly what you wish, like when you're older, nothing but light bulbs go off as every adult's admonition, advice, lecture comes rushing back, and you'll wish you listened to us sooner. Pull up your pants. Watch your mouth. Take life seriously. Slow down. Be quiet and listen. And listen. And listen. Listen, I've been breathing 20 years longer than you have, but I'm no professional at this. Sometimes I suffocate on mistakes and I still have questions I wish I could ask my mother. This is the truth. Nobody's path is the same. There's no exact formula for college, knowledge, success, or fame. Speaking of formulas, I don't know exactly why you need algebra, but I do know that math whizzes tend to make more money. Wearing your school uniform perfectly won't guarantee you a better life, but the point is there are rules to every game. Learn to follow them, but never stop questioning, because someday you'll have to make your own. For now, just take a breath and wait a minute. Practice being thankful, because someday you could watch it all burn to the ground or bleed to death in your arms. That ain't pretty, but that's the truth. No pressure, but the path is shorter than you think between adulthood and youth. Know that the love of even people you don't like is a gift. Don't be quiet, but do be careful who you share your secrets with. The world is watching, and sometimes taking video, so live a life you wouldn't mind watch being replayed on YouTube. It's up to you, boo. I know I don't know everything. I'm just someone who cares, here to share the truth. Think of that person who means everything to you today. In 3 years, you might not even know that person's name, so make your choices for you. Love you. Like you. Stand up for what's true, and remember your taste buds change every 7 years, so nothing is forever. Respect, because respecting is right, not because you're forced. And hate can kill, so just try making the world a little better instead of worse. Question everything. Notice I never said mind your manners, never said bite your tongue, never said be a follower or grow up and stop acting so young. What I did say is listen. Listen when the people who care about you are speaking. One day it'll make a little more sense, but you'll never figure it all out. Nobody ever does. That's the truth. know.
Is that one in your book?
No. It's not even typed up. Like this is, I was talking to Grant earlier about the fact that I have some poems that I really don't feel comfortable with sharing with people in like sort of the typed form. So I have some weird poems that are like handwritten, like this one, and then some that are typed up. And so no, I haven't even committed this to like putting it in the digital form at all yet. So no, this was not in the book. Let me see. Hold on. That one's not either. But there are actually some poems that I'm going to read during this act that are in the other chapbook that I have available for sale here, The Prayers of Calcitrant, which Grant mistakenly said was my first. It's actually technically Prayers of Calcitrant is my second chapbook. The first was a limited release that I did while I was in grad school that I think I have one copy left out. That somebody's claiming right now. Oh, that would be confident. Right. Well, interesting. Yeah, that means I'm going to have to reprint it. I have the digital one. Okay, wait, we ain't going to start no fights up in here. I'm going to need y'all to calm it down. Jeez. Hostile about stuff. I got two. There will be no shooting, no shanking, and no tasing. I'm not going to look in any particular direction, confidence. Ain't going to be no tasing, is all I'm saying. Tasing. And I'm going to read this poem called Legends. And then I guess after I read it, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what the heck I was thinking when I put all this crazy stuff together. And then I'm going to tell you a very bizarre story about me being weird, which I think everybody's pretty much figured out. Yeah. I'm glad we're on that. On the weird part. Legends. We sing, fight, play ball, paint, dance, and laugh. When seen in mirror, no sound, the laugh and the scream look the same. And that's how our people laughs. Laugh like we're eating our smiles, our tongues, our young. Barrel of gun. Speaking of sex mistakes, we parent like harsh winds do, grinning end to end, push like trees bend, like giving birth were the easy part. There's something famous in all of us, isn't there? Fatherless badass, raging as wings erupt, tear open their backs. We exalt them to angels after they die, especially young. Trying to rob, armed, a corner store, the fall tragic, as if he were a superstar. Smart enough. The revered gang thug, 14 years old, knows he likes guns, figures to join the military where they give out pieces for free. Not peace for free, blown to pieces for free. Send you back home free, good as dead, college educated, full of flashbacks. Rapist, murderer, thief, junkie, all legal as taxation. Best hustle ever. Smart as can be and self-caged. What we do if we knew the legend of sweet fill-in-the-blank Williams, Jack Johnson, Nat Turner, your own mama, Yemaya. What we do knowing there's something like magic in us and burning. A million religions and dialects and civilizations and safety procedures, a pot of soup, a roux made of our own blood. Sometimes a girl looks in the mirror, no sound, her cottony brown hair and Barbie's blonde tresses looking like the same thing, except she can't whip hers back and forth. The harder she shakes, the better she looks. Just whip it. Whiplash. Banana leaf ash. Pretty enough to knock out your teeth and eat them despite your face. Pretty enough to be mistaken, interchangeable with another just like her. Your very own unstable mother. A star. Might not know it now, baby, but I are. Arrogant. Under arrest. Artist formerly known. aren't we? Pretty enough to spite angels, even become angels after meeting prerequisite. Necessary courses, necessary steps to uncourse your hair. Then, of course, the easy part, die. I give some love to my very, very dear friend, Confidence, for sort of the work that helped to conceive that poem, because there's this work that I had been wanting for a really, really long time, a book of poetry called To Repel Ghosts by Kevin Young. Remember my birthday present? Written by a poet, inspired by the life and work of my very, very favorite artist, Jean-Michel Basquiat. And there's lots and lots of referentiality in his work, and so I end up with a lot of it in mind, and that was kind of what I wrote after that. And I was thinking about sort of the concept of the ways in which cultures of people of color sort of acquire legendary status, through, playing sports, through being, entertainers, through killing, through, all these different sort of ways that we sort of create our legends. And so that's kind of where that one came from. And I'm going to, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this next poem. I'm going to tell my crazy story, and then maybe one other, and then we're going to close, because I know that we run a little bit late, so I don't want to keep you guys here and dozing off and wondering why you can't leave, why you're trapped here with me, with this crazy lady and no shoes. So Grant was talking about the Texas invasion and the Oklahomies. They're going to come and kick them in the face. And this is a poem written, one of several poems that were written during my experience of living in Texas, which came right after I got my MFA. I moved to Houston, Texas, and that is where I got knocked up. That's where I conceived my daughter. So it's to make it sound real pedestrian. And so my weird story is coming up, but I'll read this one first. And it's called Humble, Texas. And I hope that there are some Texans in here who will cringe at me saying Humble, Texas, because you're supposed to say humble, and I don't care. It's humble, okay? Spelled with an H. And so this is called Humble, Texas, and it's one of many poems dedicated to my daughter. Someday you will wake up and pull it all apart, your body. After so many minutes, eye blinks, internalizations, the insides of yourself will become too much. Then it's time to loosen a few things, delegate. This is called by some a dowry. Daughter, dismantling the body is easy. Start with your head, of course, as all your Thursday mornings and resolutions and photographs are there. Unstitch your eyelids, but slowly, not to be confused with ceremony. Likewise, your teeth, just pluck them out. And I bet you'll find your old voter registration card tucked away in the gums. Everything else is spinal, and therefore liquid, and therefore easy to pour into any coffee cup. Next is your throat. This is a delicate business because nobody buys them used. Better to claw at the skin, if ambitious, and tug out your voice. Keep that someplace safe. Appendages. Just good swift pulls will do. Finally, with the strength of your fatigue, pull open your chest. Everything within, rib cage, figurative heart, etc., lay out to dry in the tomato sun. This entire process, daughter, is called love. The exhaustion you feel is joy. We're in Texas poem story. Thank you very much.